Can you recall the last time you went out for a coffee? Would you rate the experience as positive or negative? Now, can you rank the acidity of the coffee that it was brewed to you? Or can you describe the decoration of the place, or even do you remember the name of your barista? If you can barely remember the experience, how can you judge it as positive? Bernardo here, join me this week and let's figure out why. As humans, the process of deciding if something was good or bad is really straightforward. Although, if you ask me purely from a mathematical perspective, due to the cumbersome amount of variables, that should be an excruciating task. Just so our brains don't boil, this whole decision-making process is streamlined by something called the pick and brew. The pick and brew is a heuristic, in other words, an educated guess that our brains make automatically to help us navigate such complexity by just bringing together what we felt during the experience at its peak and at its end. We tend to think about memory as a movie playing in our heads. However, that's not really true. As Dan Kahneman showed in his research, the memory itself is a storyteller. So every time we're remembering something, we're actually telling a story to ourselves. So the process of remembering an experience is much more like a live concert than the reprise of a movie in our heads. In his research, Kahneman revisited a fascinating psychology study from the 90s. In such study, 150 participants had to undergo an extremely painful medical procedure. And as they navigated such procedure, they were reporting their pain levels. Patient B, as you can see, reported much higher and long-lasting levels of pain than patient A. However, when asked to rate their experience, most patients would rate their experience based only on two moments: the most painful moment and the final moments of the procedure. We actually seem to completely ignore the length of the event. That's called duration neglect. As long as the most painful moment and the final moments are less painful than the other procedure, the length doesn't really matter. In retrospect, procedure B for patient B would seem much less painful than what patient A had. What would be the overarching effect on society if we took in consideration the peak and brew when designing the services out there? Can we potentially change the way the service is provided in order to make it less boring or even more enjoyable? Be it a medical procedure, public service, or anything else. Comment down here, let me know, I would love to hear your thoughts. That's it for this week. It's lovely to have you here, and as always, see you next week.